The United States, we're hearing from Reuters news agency, says it has indications, is how they're describing it, that Iran is preparing to imminently launch a ballistic missile attack against Israel. That quote given to Reuters by a senior White House official. Professor Michael Clarke joins me to talk about this. Nobody has really known, have they, Professor Clarke, how Iran will respond to recent events and recent actions by Israel on Lebanon and now inside Lebanon. Would you expect them to respond quickly?
Yes, I think they'll want to show that they can do something quickly, because for the last 2 weeks they've been on the back foot with news every day. Everything that the Israelis done since 2 weeks ago, which is the pager attack 2 weeks ago today, has put the Iranians in a very bad spot, and they've been very uncertain, because they made it clear that they wouldn't really mobilize to help Hamas, and they won't really mobilize to help Hezbollah, despite the pager attacks and what's happened since. So it's to be expected that the Iranians feel that they've got to do something. But whether they can actually produce a significant missile attack soon on Israel, I think is doubtful. The last time they tried it was on the 13th of April, and they launched 350-odd missiles, and 7 of them landed in a place of no great consequence. So it was a complete failure last time they tried it. That took some time to put together. If they try something similar this time, they would have to have faith that it would be a bit more effective, I think.
Are you alluding to the missile attack from Iran in which Jordan, amongst others, the UK, the US, France as well, I think, mobilised in the air against those missiles? Is that the event you're talking about? Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
If they do it, would you expect that kind of mobilisation again, perhaps, yes, from all of the above?
Not in the short term. I was just having a look, actually, at the Americans have got the Abraham Lincoln carrier in the Gulf of Oman, and that's got a lot of air power on it, which is capable of shooting down missiles and certainly drones. They're due to be joined by the Truman, the carrier, the Harry Truman, but I was just checking on the location of that, and the Truman is still in the middle of the Atlantic. It won't be through the Strait of Gibraltar, I guess, for another 36 hours or so. So the Truman's not involved in it. So the Americans have got one carrier battle group on station. Nobody else has got very much in the short term. So if this report is accurate and the Iranians intend to do something in the next 48, 72 hours, then the Israelis will have to cope with it more or less on their own with their Iron Dome and all of their defensive systems. They may not get as much help this time as they got last time, but they get some help from the Americans, not probably from anybody else just immediately.
The IDF, I just noticed, is literally as we speak, is saying on X that it is targeting Beirut now, the capital of Lebanon. The Israeli Defense Force targeting Beirut, no more detail than that. They have said repeatedly today, people like Peter Lerner have said repeatedly today of the IDF, this is an operation that is simply, well, simple is not the right word, but is purely about disabling Hezbollah's attack capabilities on Israel. Why would that take it to Beirut?
Because the IDF argue that southern Beirut, the southern suburb of Beirut, which is well known as the Hezbollah stronghold, I mean, it's quite a big city, but the southern suburb itself is quite a large suburb. And they say it's not only the headquarters of a lot of Hezbollah people, which it palpably is, but they claim that lots of missiles are also fired from there. Cruise missiles are fired from secret locations in southern Beirut. Now, we've got to take their word for that. But on the other hand, I have to say it's plausible. And the IDF are going for what they believe to be launching sites in the suburbs of southern Beirut, because their argument is that Hezbollah, just like Hamas, they use individual residents, innocent people, as human shields to put their material below their buildings or in the middle of their buildings. We have to take the IDF's word for that, but that's what they say.
But presumably from our own satellites and the like, the UK, the US, the wider intelligence world, in the West I'm talking about, because of course it's not just the West who has that stuff, would be able to say where, perhaps not an address of where it was coming from, but say, broadly speaking, where these missiles are coming from, no?
Yes, they do. And generally speaking...
So we don't have to take Israel's word for it, do we?
Well, Western intelligence backs it up to a degree. Whether the extent of explosions that have taken place in southern Beirut justified is a different question. Nobody's quite sure about that. But for sure, there is a general belief that Hezbollah do this, and that southern Beirut has been a hotspot for all of their activities. Yeah.
Just as we speak, a White House official is saying that Iran could expect severe consequences if this happens, adding that the US is supporting what it calls defensive preparations to defend Israel against this attack. You think, do you, that at this point that will be naval ships or ship rather
Probably,
than...
yes, it would. It would be aircraft. It means anti-guided missile destroyers and aircraft which can shoot down drones. I mean, they've got two sorts of things. One is aircraft can fire missiles at drones, which are relatively easy to shoot down because they're fairly slow in the scheme of things, and they've got powerful destroyers in the area with these carrier battle groups who've got missiles that can shoot down ballistic missiles. So if you've got enough of them in the right place, then you can bring down a fair few.
Well, thank you for speaking to us, Professor Michael Clarke, former Director General of RUSI and defence expert.